Hi guys, Jim Mateo at iHeartRadio. I'll put the time when I stopped it. This is kind of new. I think I've done one on this station before. I think we'll do this. I'm gonna be out here till 10, by the way. So this will be like, I'll come back in like 20 minutes and then do 55 KRC, and then about 9 o'clock we'll do the weather. So I'm gonna step out here and everybody should be in here. I'm gonna take my phone and take calls.
It's impossible for us to say what about Ohio's labor force is changing.
Bud Johnson says it's a trend the state has seen since the year 2000. Matt Bruning, News Radio 700 WLW.
700 WLW Sports. This is the News Radio 700 WLW Reds update. Johnny Cueto pitching 8 effective innings as the Reds beat the Blue Jays 4-3, taking 2 of 3 from the AL East leaders at Great American Ballpark. Cueto improved to 7-5, giving up 3 runs, 1 earned, and struck out 8. Todd Frazier belts his 17th home run of the year with a man on to snap a 2-2 tie in the 5th. Aroldis Chapman got his 13th save, striking out the side of the 9th. The Reds are now off on a 3-city, 10-game road trip with the first of 3 tomorrow night up against the Cubs at Wrigley Field in Chicago, with the action here on the big one. Bill Dennison, 700 WLW Sports.
The forecast is next. News Radio 700 WLW News Time is 9:05.
I'm Beverly Lawbert, State Long-Term Care Ombudsman. I have an important and rewarding job. I advocate for long-term care consumers, whether they live in a nursing home or in their own home, to ensure they receive quality care. Join me. Volunteer to be an ombudsman. Together, we can step up for consumer rights. Visit stepup.ohio.gov.
Sponsored by the Ohio Department of Aging, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters at this station.
Jay Bruce wants to play baseball with you. Attend the Kroger Jay Bruce Baseball Pro Camp in partnership with CBDS, presented by Sunny D and the Christ Hospital, Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Kids in grades 1 through 8 can join the All-Star Outfielder July 25th and 26th at Sycamore High School. For more information and registration, visit jaybrucecamp.com. Jay will be on site and be joined by area coaches to provide small group instruction. The camp focuses on baseball fundamentals and fun. Visit jaybrucecamp.com today.
This is Savannah Guthrie with an urgent story developing all across America. Despite having more than enough food available, there are nearly 16 million kids struggling with hunger. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks engages local communities in solving hunger by collecting surplus food, giving hope to hungry kids. But they need your help. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council. Home of the latest news, weather, traffic, sports, and the world's largest salted cracker. This is 700 WLW, the big one.
Or Severe Weather Station 700 WLW. Or Severe Weather Station 700 WLW.
Never wait for weather. The Fox 19 Storm Tracker forecast on News Radio 700 WLW.
Scattered shower and thunderstorm activity ends this evening. The 10 p.m. temperature, a humid 79 degrees. Warm and muggy tonight, the low 67. Hot, humid Monday. Scattered pop-up showers and thunderstorms for afternoon and evening. Monday's high 90. Tuesday, still sticky, the low 71, the high 84. Numerous showers and thunderstorms Tuesday. Some of them could be heavy. I'm Fox 19 Chief Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. News Radio 700 WLW.
Weather is a service of Meyer. Our next update at 9:30. I'm Allison Wyatt, News Radio 700 WLW.
News on air. News on demand. 700WLW.com.
Don't think of it as a repeat. Consider it a jewel from his treasure chest of shows. It's the best of Bill Cunningham on 700 WLW.
I broke 1,000 hearts before I met you. I'll break 1,000 more, baby, before I am through. I wanna be yours, pretty baby, yours and yours alone. I'm here to tell you, honey, that I'm bad to the bone, bad to the bone, bad to the bone.
Now, Billy Cunningham, the Great American. Reds baseball kicks off at 6:07 tonight. The Blue Jays in town for a quick 3. Then the Red Legs are back on the road for 10, heading toward the 4th of July and the All-Star break and more. I can't believe, can you, how quickly time flies when you're having fun? The year 2014 is about 10 days away from being concluded, halfway concluded.
6 months into the year, it's unbelievable. To conclude the first half of 2014 is really unbelievable how time flies when you're having fun. So tonight, Reds baseball kicks off at 6:07 with Lance McAllister. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Reds back on the road for 10 big ones. Did you have a sense yesterday that the umpires had had enough of 12 innings of baseball, and the Major League umpires determined about 5 o'clock, all right, it's time to get the heck out of here. Rain delay, long game, nobody in the stands, seemingly nobody watching, everybody listening on 700 WLW, and they said enough's enough. So Cingrani picked somebody off at first, and then the balk is called after he's picked off. And then that pitch, when it was 3-1, was clearly a strike. Maybe one before that was. But the umpires determined yesterday from Pittsburgh, enough is enough. Let's go home. We're going to be late for dinner. And the Major League umpires said to heck with it, despite the fact that Billy Hamilton once again demonstrated what Joey Votto said in February and March, and that is that Billy Hamilton could be one of the best players in all of baseball. In fact, Billy Hamilton might be an MVP. The catch that he made and the way he's hitting the ball now and getting on base, there's nothing wrong with this ball club. Think about this. The relief corps outside of maybe the Detroit Tigers, there's no better in baseball than the starting five. The relief corps has been a little iffy the last 3 or 4 games. But before that, the relief corps was darn good. And the hitting appears to have come around. So we'll see what happens. A man that has perspective on this and so much more is the Cowboy. Somewhere, I think in Cincinnati, but not so sure, Jeff Brantley, welcome again to the Bill Cunningham Show. Jeff Brantley, how are you?
I'm doing great, partner.
Did you have a sense yesterday that the umpire said enough is enough and let's get out of here, we're going to be late for dinner? Because of the Cingrani pickoff that turned out to be a balk, and then the strike calls with Cingrani. Are there times in Major League Baseball the umpires say, it's extra innings, we had the rain delay, we're going to be late for dinner?
You know, it seems like that sometimes. I don't think that's the case, but I think it seems like that sometimes. I thought that the ball and strike calls were they were awfully tight yesterday, and they were tight not only for Homer Bailey, they were tight for Cingrani, and they were tight for Jeff Locke as well. It's just, you know, there are some umpires that are, you know, they just have a different type of strike zone than others. Some are a little bit more lenient, some are a little bit tighter. It's your job to figure it out when you're on the mound and at the plate.
And sometime soon, maybe the new commission will do this. There's no reason, much like in tennis. I have umpired some tennis tournaments in the past, and before the advent of digital technologies, you could not really tell, except maybe on clay, if the ball was in or out on 145 mile per hour serve, whether it's an inch here, an inch there, you don't know, you make a guess. Do you see the day coming when technology is used for balls and strikes so the rule book is actually meaningful?
Yeah, I think it depends on how long we go with this instant replay and how successful it is. Right now, it's been nothing more than a bunch of controversy, if you ask me. And I think with that being said, I don't know that the umpires are anywhere near allowing any kind of technology to take over ball and strike calls. I mean, that's the most sacred part of the umpiring game, is being able to do just that. And I just don't know, Willie, that'll ever happen.
Well, the fact is, in spring training and before games, you can measure players digitally. This is the strike zone. You can put the strike zone at the home plate. And wouldn't that be more accurate than subjective judgment?
No, I definitely think it would be more accurate. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you're talking about the serves from a tennis ball that is basically the same approximate size as a baseball, and you're still talking about the edge of a line, and 1 or 2 millimeters on a tennis ball is the same as a baseball, whether it catches the corner or not. Yeah, I think it would be more accurate. Do I think it'd be better for the game? I don't know. I doubt it. But you never, I mean, the way things are going now with technology, I don't think you can ever say that it's not going to happen.
All right, we're almost at the halfway point, another week or 10 days. The Reds are concluding almost 3 months of baseball in about 10 days. Well, what are the 1 or 2 things that have impressed you about the Reds, and what are the 1 or 2 things that have depressed you?
I think the the offense has really impressed me as of late, especially here in June. I think the guys are swinging the bats like we thought that they could swing the bats from the beginning of the season. Now, it's going to be key for this club to continue to do that. I think you're already seeing an immediate turnaround with some semblance of offensive production. That's what I'm pleased about. What I'm not pleased about is the middle of this bullpen. It has not done the job at all. Not what we saw last year, not what we've seen in the last 4 or 5 years. And you know, that's one of those things where you just can't expect starting pitchers to pitch 7 innings, give the ball to Broxton, give the ball to Chapman every single night. You've got 5 or 6 other guys that are down there in that bullpen. They've got to do their jobs as well. And if it's a 1-run deficit or if it's a 5-run lead, my God, you got to get them out.
You know, when I see Ondrusek or J.J. Hoover on the mound, I'm getting ready to throw the remote at the TV because something bad's about to happen.
Well, it's not just those two guys. I think it's a collective issue. And I think, you know, they get the most blame simply because they're the ones that are getting the ball in the 6th inning or the 7th inning. I think Ondrusek's thrown the ball pretty well his last few times out. I thought Hoover threw the ball well the other night. But it's consistency, and that's the biggest key. And I think that confidence is part of it. It's part of getting in a proper rhythm. And you know, I mean, it's just one of those things that raises a big red flag. You just hope it improves.
Well, I'm listening the other night to you, and Marty has a question to you about when the Reds are up. We have a situation here with a Red starter having at least 10 wins and maybe 11 or 12 wins. You would have to see how.
And find a way to bring additional value to that person's experience. It's not just like, hey, remember us, and throw your logo and throw your theme song and throw your products in their face all the time. But it's about sort of reminding them of who you are and how you can, you know, be valuable or how you can bring new value to what they're doing. And this is actually a really great strengthening technique for your customers, for your business. Or
do you have an example of that?
Countries
because I don't get it. I'm not sure I'm following. So do you have an example?
Okay, well, like, you know how like products kind of reinvent themselves, or they'll find a new angle. Yeah, new Coke.
Yeah.
Well, they'll find a new angle. They'll say, okay, well, new Coke is now produced in biodegradable bottles.
Oh.
So that's like saying, hey, remember us?
So drink it quick.
We are now. Oh,
good. I like it.
Let's just go to a commercial.
Okay, let's go to a commercial. You're listening to American Dreamers on 55 KRC, the talk station.
55 KRC, the talk station.
Hi.
Checking out the movies this weekend?
Here's your box office preview. Clint Eastwood directs his first musical with Jersey Boys, the film adaptation of the Tony Award-winning Broadway show. The movie tells the story of the formation, rise, success, and eventual split of the 60s rock and roll group The Four Seasons, who came from Newark, New Jersey. John Lloyd Young, Eric Bergen, Michael Ominda, and Christopher Walken star in this biographical drama set to music. Another sequel hit screens this weekend with Think Like a Man 2, loosely based on Steve Harvey's book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. This time around, the characters from the 2012 original are all in Las Vegas for a wedding. Unfortunately, relationship issues may derail the festivities before the big day. Adam Brody, Jerry Ferrara, Regina Hall, and Kevin Hart star in this romantic comedy. Still in theaters are 22 Jump Street, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Maleficent, Edge of Tomorrow, and The Fault in Our Stars, plus X-Men Days of Future Past, Godzilla, A Million Ways to Die in the West, Neighbors, and $1 Million Arm. And that's your weekend box office preview on iHeartRadio.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but you grew up and things changed. Well, it's time to put it back on your list. Innovative things are happening in teaching today, and you can be a part of it.
Make more. Teach. Visit teach.org. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Find low-cost spay and neuter options at GiveThem10.org.
Healthy, wealthy, and wise. The Steve Perrin Coordinated Financial Planning Studios. This is 55 KRC, the talk station.
Welcome back to American Dreamers on 55 KRC, the talk station. You can also hear us on the World Wide Web at AmericanDreamers.biz. That's AmericanDreamers.biz. Biz for business. This is the show that is passionately dedicated to celebrating, supporting, and connecting small business. We also interrupt your inspiration. Don't we, Soho?
No, it's not interruption. It's disruption.
Disrupt. I'm sorry.
Never mind.
I thought that's when the dog jumps on the bed, right in the middle of a really good dream, you know? No, that's not it.
Don't go down that path.
Okay. So, I'm Tom Tassett.
And I'm Sunho Donovan. We want to take a quick moment out here to thank our sponsors, Motorist Mutual Insurance Agency, a fantastic insurance company in the Midwest region, one of the largest, and they attribute their success because to working solely through independent insurance agencies like HTT Agency.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. They're not bad.
They're okay.
741-2100 if you'd like Tom to eyeball your policy and see where you might be lacking some coverage.
Yeah.
741-2100, 741-2100. Ask for Tom Tassett.
Yeah. Please. So we're here talking to Brian Burning of The Circuit, and we were talking a little bit in the earlier segment about Cincinnati's becoming a booming place for IT, isn't it?
It is.
Why?
Well, I think some of it's also part of a branding in terms of the saying, Cincinnati could be the next Silicon Valley of the Midwest is what they talk about. And I think in large part, too, when you look at the economy and where the growth sectors are, it's largely in innovation, technology, and, of course, healthcare being so, which we won't talk about today. But these are the growth markets in terms of creating new jobs and good-paying jobs. So that's why you're seeing that push. And I think in terms of venture capital, the community still we've got some progress we need to make there. But you have programs like Centrifuge and the Brandery and Uptech that are encouraging folks like myself who never used to invest in early-stage companies. Now I'm doing it personally. So we're seeing it's a sexy topic now. It's the best way to put it, and that's what we're seeing today.
Did you ever think somebody would tell you IT is sexy?
No.
You heard it first here. The IT is sexy.
Breaking news on American Dreamers. Hey, Brian. And I hear about this, and when I think IT and emerging technologies, I think of software and digital applications and things like that. But it could also be a business that uses the internet as their distribution system.
Right? That's exactly right. And they used to use the word IT, used to be called information technology. Mm-hmm. Now we use the word innovation technology. Mm-hmm. So it has a much broader spectrum. So whether you're an individual that serves those sort of computer science or software developers that serve that specific need, or you're an organization and you're in need of some form of innovation to deliver your product or service. So it's got a much broader definition today than it did 10 years ago, let alone 2 years ago. So that's what you're seeing today as innovation technology is really about thinking differently. It's an entrepreneurial concept. It's about entrepreneurialism, and they say that the most dangerous phrase in the language is "we've always done it this way." So that's what you see, and this is a trade association, if you want, that's sort of dedicated to innovation technology.
Okay, The Circuit you're talking about.
Yes,
now, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about The Circuit. How did it start and its mission?
Well, it started in 1994 with I am the successor for Jim Cunningham, and Tony Shipley and a few others put this together as an information technology trade association. And over the years, it sort of has evolved, and today it's sort of broadened its scope since I've taken over, and really trying to look beyond just the traditional information technology age to innovation technology. And the mission of this organization is really to collaborate, to educate, and to advocate all things innovation technology. And and our concentration is largely for middle market and mature small business, so we're not committed just it's not that's our sweet spot if you want to. Mm-hmm. But we design programs that are for startup organizations all the way up to publicly traded. But clearly our sweet spots primarily for those organizations that are that middle market and mature small businesses.
Okay, and when you say middle market, what's the definition? Is that defined by revenue, employees?
Yeah.
What's the definition?
Yeah, small businesses can range from really, our market's from about $1 million up to about $200 million in revenue. That's middle market to me is really anything in excess of about $50 million.
Isn't it true though that today $1 million revenue could be company, especially in the IT field, could be one person sitting at a desk in their house?
Oh, absolutely. And there's a lot of
yeah, I wish that was me.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be. That's the beauty about technology, especially mobile technology, and that's the big. Obviously, you're seeing a lot of organizations, even the most mature farms that I call them out there as organizations, moving towards more mobile technology, and so that need for talent that can drive mobile technology applications to those businesses is greater than it's ever been, and that creates a void being talent, right? And so and I think it sort of predates the recession we went through. If you think back, what were companies doing when we were going through the recession?
Yeah,
crying,
crying, yeah,
hiding,
cutting costs, cutting jobs,
firing people,
right?
Yeah.
And so a lot, the companies obviously a lot of companies were affected by it, but those that had limited IT space, IT departments, they were cutting out programs such as the training and development program as well because they weren't core and critical to how do we make next week's payroll.
Right.
So they started cutting out not only jobs but a lot of their training and development programs, internship programs started to disappear. So we fast forward where we are today, and we're ramping up, and the economy's recovering, and now there's no patience today. So we need experienced talent. Everyone wants that easy button, especially in this space here because you're not a department of 200 people in your IT, maybe a department of one. And so, that's created a pretty significant need in this community. And one of the reasons we've created a talent track at the circuit to really help educate our members about internships, H-1B visas, other types of resources they can turn to help them, sort of cure this issue.
So, clear up for me: are the members of the circuit small businesses, or are they individuals that you just try to connect them, or is it serve one group or the other?
Both. It's both organizations and individuals. So we have individuals that are members. We also have organizations. And as I mentioned, it's both mature small business to middle market. So it's a pretty broad range. That's our sweet spot. But the programs can, we have individuals that are contemplating starting a business and going to some of these programs because the topics are universal.